worse things out tonight than vampires.
Like what?
Like me.
Half human,
Blade's mother was attacked by a vampire while she was pregnant.
half immortal.
You got the best of both worlds. All our strengths, none of our weaknesses.
What's going on, shipmates? My name is Adam, and welcome to another edition of Seamen on Film. What is Seamen on Film? Former U.S. Navy veterans or sailors, current veterans, get together and discuss movies that will probably be good to take on deployments with us. We discuss these movies, give them ratings, and do some a little bit of extra military instructions at the end. I'd like to introduce my guest panel. First of all, Sabrina, aka the Blood Countess. What's up, Sabrina?
Nice introduction. Just chilling. Yeah.
You always make him do that.
Introduce me.
Right.
Yeah.
Oh, he stumbles over his words when he tries to speak to you.
Oh, I'm just that intimidating.
Continuing on, welcome Chris, aka Severin. How's it going?
Good. We need a disclaimer to put up, say that we're characters here. We're not really our true self. So whatever is said can't be held against the actual person behind the name.
Agreed. What's going on, Andy, aka Mustat?
Good, I'm good, ready to be a creature of the night.
I just want to stay mustache.
I kind of do. And last but not least, Joe, aka Jake the Steak Robert. What's going on, dude?
Feeling good, ready to go.
I had to pick this month, and I had the category was 90s action or adventure, and I chose with 1998 Wesley Snipes' banger, the movie that put Marvel back on the map and saved it from bankruptcy, Blade. Hence why all the Vampire Slayer names we got going on. I just want to start off like we always do. What did you guys think when I picked the movie? The Blood Countess?
Honestly, fairly nonplussed. I was like, this will be fun. I know this is one of Adam's favorite movies, so I'm excited for him. And I hope it's as cool as I remember it being, because I haven't watched it in like a decade, probably.
It took me like 5 seconds to pick this movie once I got the category, and I waited a whole 30 days to tell you guys. Chris,
I'm very
how about
proud of you.
Oh, I like to pick. I'm always down for some action vampire movie. Never bad to me. So any vampire movie with some action, some martial arts. I hadn't seen this one in a long time either, and I don't watch it when it comes on. So I was like, okay, hopefully I remember how good it was. I enjoyed it.
Yeah, I was super stoked. It was definitely a movie we watched a lot back in like its release cycle or whatever, during the trilogy of Blade movies coming out. Watched it a ton back then, even sometimes on deployment, and but I hadn't watched it in a good while, and was something that was missing from my collection, so it was a good excuse to buy them.
And Joe?
Absolute banger of a pick. This is a good one, man. This is right up my alley. Yeah, I've got a lot to say on the subject of Blade 1998. So excellent pick, excellent movie, fun. I'm ready.
Awesome. Well, I read that Marvel was on the verge of bankruptcy, and they actually sold the rights to Blade to New Line Cinema for $75K on a budget of $45 million. It grossed just over $130 million, and ultimately propelling Marvel and comic book movies to what it is today.
What?
A runtime of 120 minutes even. Got a 58% on Rotten Tomatoes and 78% on the audience score. Blade tells a story real quickly of a vampire hunter, a damper, half blood, half human, half vampire hybrid. All their strengths, none of their weaknesses. Who goes around town killing vampires. We're introduced to Deacon Frost, half. What do they call it? Not a half. Not a purebred vampire. A turned vampire who's trying to ascend the ranks and bring on and invoke the blood god Lamagra, and then Blade's journey to stop it. Look, watch the movie. I'm not gonna go through the whole storyline. It's a great fucking movie. I just want to kick it off with I want to start off with your favorite scenes of the movie. And I want to I want to bring up the scenes that are, were Seamen on film. These are movies that would kick ass on deployments. And so I want to bring up the scenes that would pack the birthing lounge, if you will, that is going to generate a buzz, going to have everybody gather around, floor to ceiling in the lounge, and you hear the oohs and ahs. Who wants to start off first? Joe?
Will, and I'm probably, I mean, this is the best scene of the entire movie. So, I mean, if you're going to double up on this, I mean, I guess I'll give you guys a chance to think about your next favorite part. But the best part of the movie, and everybody knows this, is the first scene.
The first scene.
All right,
the
so
intro.
Maybe people haven't seen it, but let me set the tone for you here.
The childbirth?
Young.
That's the first scene, is the childbirth.
Oh, okay. Well, that
you know what we're talking about.
Everybody gets excited for the birth of a child. So,
There is an emergency C-section being done. It is a pivotal moment in a woman's life.
The first CC Blade is the best. It's
a miracle that we can perform such surgeries.
The vampire blood raid scene.
Okay, I'm so sorry. I'll stop.
Just to set the idea here for those folks that may have not seen this, horny young male riding in a sports car with a attractive young female.
Did you recognize said co-star, or not co-star, but
who was it?
Do you remember a very popular TV show, The Shield?
Okay.
It was Lemansky in The Shield.
Huh.
He was also in Sons of Anarchy. But yeah.
I guess we're moving on.
Nice.
Yeah, oh man, that guy, I recognize.
Thanks
him.
for pointing that out, Andy. I like that.
Do you know what he's credited as in the movie?
Horny teen.
No,
I have no idea.
I forget his first name, but if his name was Brett, he's credited as heat-seeking Brett or something like that.
Okay. So he goes to this underground nightclub with this beautiful young concubine, and it turns out this is a fucking vampire dance club. And soon enough, bloodbath happens, and out of the sprinklers it rains blood, and the vampires are obviously going into some sort of bloodlust. It's like a vampire getting a blowjob while making out with another vampire chick. This club's pretty crazy, pretty exclusive.
It's lit.
It's lit. And I might be wrong here, but in 1998, I don't know if this was I feel like this may have started this kind of trend in movies where your opening scene is blasting techno music and a fight scene's happening. Or it doesn't have to be techno music. It could be, even
electronica or whatever.
One with Bodies by Drowning Pool. It's he's kicking everybody's ass, but it was like Matrix did this.
The hype
Yeah.
music, yeah.
Yeah, I mean,
1 year before the Matrix, and they were already doing trench coats. They're doing EDM, and they did Bullet Time
Bullet
before the
Time
Matrix.
even. I mean, this may have started that entire like genre of
Cinematography, yeah.
Mortal
Marilyn
Kombat
Manson
started
in the
it.
fight scene.
Blade perfected it.
Oh, yeah. There you go. There you go. But you, in the aftermath of this, or as this bloodbath's happening, the vampire shows themselves, and horned up dude is now terrified because he's about to be, in you. But you see, he pops in to save the day. It's a bunch of vampires to techno beats. He shows off all of his weapons that he pretty much uses throughout. He showcases every single weapon pretty much right then and there. Yeah. He's got his shotgun, he's got his sword, he's got his pistol, got stakes, yeah. All of it. So by far, I think that is the best scene of the movie, and that packs the house.
Yeah, absolutely.
That packs birthing out for sure, no doubt.
Go for it, Chris.
I wanted to add, I thought people would pick that, so I didn't pick it. But Herschel had a comment there. The dude with Tracy Lord's heat-seeking Brett.
I forget his name, but yeah.
So the dude with Tracy Lords at the beginning has something drip on his hand at the club, and his first instinct is to taste it.
I thought, yep.
Never do that. Never.
Wrote that down.
Right. That was his question for that scene.
He's also so desperate that he walks through an entire like meat factory and this insane setup.
Yeah, but like in the late 90s and stuff, like raves and all kinds of weird underground clubs were like popping right then. So it was like you went to places that were like abandoned warehouses and maybe behind a meat packing plant or something, like the underground scene was definitely majorly happening right then.
I just want to
totally before my time then.
Yeah. I was offended when he threw her coat on the floor.
Oh, yeah. Like kids in Kansas, we have no idea what like a party is like. Yeah. In like New York City. This was, it may not be realistic to people, but for sure for me, I was like, this is how people party, dude. Like if I went to New York, this is exactly what I'd be looking for.
I remember I went on like spring break, so to speak, and I was down in Florida. We were in Tampa and we went to Ybor City, and like the one club we got into, at like 20 years old or whatever, like it was on like a goth night or something weird, or it was like the closest thing to like almost a rock club that I could tolerate. And like my friends were like, this place is weird. Like I was waiting for the fucking blood sprinklers to kick off because that was the vibe they had, because we had, this was peak Blade, like 2001. And so
this is probably when like white parties and like foam parties and things like that were happening.
Maybe.
I feel like I was just too young to actually get into any of these things, but I've heard that they could happen.
I just want to continue because the intro scene was my favorite scene as well, and I fucking love the introduction. I love the introduction of Blade. How it's just pouring blood all over these people, and when he's not a drop of blood on him, he's on his black suit and black trench coat. Speaking of, we're on the Navy. The way he draws his shotgun with like fucking military precision was fucking cool as hell. He just fucking snapping everywhere, kicking everybody's ass. When he pulls out his sword and he draws a line on the ground, like fucking Wesley Snipes killed this role. He like absolutely murdered this role, no pun intended. And then even like I forget, like I adopt mannerisms from movies and I use them for so long that I forget that I've adopted them. But even like to this day, like when he hits Quinn with the steak shotgun and he does the little move, I do that to this day. Like Chris, whenever I'm doing a maintenance, a PM, and everything goes perfectly well, like I get no leaks in the tubes or the pressure's all good, I will do that like at the end of my PM. Like,
I'm gonna start doing that after sex to you. Be like,
Hope you enjoyed that.
That's, when is
That
your
was
sex?
good.
You guys have been married. You've been together for a while. When is your sex night? Is it Tuesdays?
It's whenever I say it is, Chris.
Yeah, I think Herschel's is like every third new moon of the third month or something like that. Not here to defend himself. Patrice would get on and
Since we're talking about this first scene as your favorite scene, can I just share my 2 thoughts about it that weren't mentioned already?
Absolutely.
I've thought that the bloodbath was extremely wasteful considering their predicament. That was one of my thoughts, and the other one was that Blade's, like, you get the first view of his actual like get up, and it's very tactical, and a lot of it actually makes, like, it looks a little bit bulky, but he can move well in it still. But he's packed on all like the different gadgets and gizmos, and that's how kind of I imagine you would actually look if you were going to go out into the night fighting vampires.
so
It was
Funny that
practical.
It's funny that you mentioned that. Now, when you if you don't put the Blade DVD or VHS in, your odds of seeing that throughout the year are very slim. It mostly, it's I never see it on like TBS or anything like that.
Not anymore, no.
It's always number 2 and 3, and 2 is and 3 is awful.
No. Yeah, she's decent.
But it had been so long since I've seen this version of this Blade, and which is crazy because I mean I've seen this movie hundreds of times. Hundreds of times, and I didn't realize between Blade 1 and then 2 and 3, he looks less bulky in number 1 and a lot more like tactical. Like, I'm like, it's so much better to see him like that in 1 than it is like 2 and 3, when it just got like over the top ridiculous. They were like, oh, well, if Blade has this, we should add this, and this, and it'll just make the movie even better. You know, and like, no. Like, this was ideal Blade full package.
I can comment on that. I do want to agree with Sabrina. Whenever the blood started spewing, I was like, they're just going to waste blood like that? Or are they going to, at some point, going to lick this up off the floor this night?
They have to jump through hoops to get that blood, and then they're just going to pour it all over the floor?
So I have some meta commentary on that as far as Frost.
Or was it just showing off his wealth and his power?
Frost, we know Frost is a turned vampire, which meant he was human before he became a vampire. And his humanity makes him live beyond his means. And we could see that where in the Vampire Council, they've been accustomed to a certain way of life for so long that they don't want to mess with it. They have deals with politicians and this and that. They don't. But since Deacon Frost was a human first, and humans want to live beyond their means, his wastefulness, his clubs, his antics, his wanting to invoke La Magra is a human personality trait that's coming out, not a vampire personality trait.
The whole not seeing, when you don't see Blade on TV, it's because on TV they cut out all the gore, so they don't show all the gore. They don't show like some of those scenes, and that's why they kind of don't really play it as much. And the same thing for Jaws, they don't show the shark attack scenes. So it's like, yeah, I want to watch a movie called Jaws without the shark attack, you know. And Blade, they just quit showing it because of the, you know, they don't show the gore anyway.
I never realized that.
But that was one of the first things when Blade showed up. I was like, damn, he looks so much more tactical and like more mobile in this movie than he does in those other two. It's I'm glad somebody brought up his outfit so they could remind me that I felt like that.
I'm sure Whistler had that in mind when he was designing the lightweight outfits.
Yeah.
You know?
Because when he picks up that light later, he's like, it's still a little heavy. And he's like, but you're so big.
Yeah.
Which is funny because Wesley Snipes is only like 5'8". Like,
yeah, but he was strong and, you know, he was thick.
Yeah.
I also want to point out the vampire vaporizing CGI effect was fucking killer.
Yeah,
that's weird. Like,
it's pretty good for what it was.
Hit miss.
Yeah.
Hold on.
I
Um,
guess.
So other favorite scenes still?
Yeah. I guess me and Adam are out.
Andy, you got anything for us?
Um,
I
I mean,
understand
technically
it's
I think the whole ritual scene, La Magra and stuff like that. You know, it's the climax. It's way later, but I mean that's a really good, wrap up to everything, and like it's well executed. It's very measured in the ceremony and all that, which is nice. Um, the killer fight scene, multiple fight scenes really. Um, between the girl and her former coworker, Blade taking out various vampires and stuff, both on the way in and then the big fight and everything else. So like boss fight wise, it definitely lives up.
I could go off
I
on
was
the final.
killer.
What's that?
That CGI was when like the souls of the purebloods are like
Yeah.
back, and it's kind of cartoony looking now, but
Yeah.
I would say, put yourself in 1998.
But yeah, that's like that
I was
part was
like,
good, but then like the exploding blood,
Yeah.
Blood God himself
thing
is
like
kind of
looks
weird.
super corny and doesn't hold up, but it's like
It's like,
all these other CGI effects are still great and like hold up and look good, but it's like then they lost steam there or
a
something.
giant
like-
blood clot
liked it
just
now.
exploding.
Oh,
Yeah.
Disgusting.
and that is that scene's pretty legit. I mean that becoming La Magra, it was awesome. What and what does La Magra really mean? Blood God?
No, I think it's
Latin?
completely made up for the film.
It's a root word for blood in Latin, I think. But other than that, no.
I could go off a little bit on the final scene as well, if anybody wants to comment on it first.
The scene, like the scene that he was just talking about.
Yeah.
I was
Oh no, I didn't really care for it.
I was wondering
I thought the scenes before it were cooler. Like the infiltration scene was
The
cooler
final
than
scene.
the whole La Magra fight was kind of like too simple and anticlimactic for me.
you talking
how about
the
this for a
final scene in
climax?
Moscow? The Moscow scene at the end?
That's good.
Is that what you're
How
saying
about-
with the final?
No, the final fight scene.
Oh,
The boss fight.
How about when he puts the glasses on his face? Like, if that doesn't get your heart rate going, blood countess, I don't know what will.
Like when he whips out the thread and just fucking slices his head off and catches his own sunglasses.
That was like the coolest part, I guess.
Oh no!
I don't know.
How
I just
about
thought it was over too quick.
How about
It
when
was
he
so
rips,
easy. It was so
How about-
simple. Like
how
what
about
the
when
fuck?
he rips the guy's throat out and then throws it at another guy?
that's Patrick Swayze.
Nah, I think
And-
that the infiltration scene was cooler. It was more eye-catching. If we're gonna go for like an eye-catching, like you're walking by and it's on in the birthing, I would be like, did I just hear an engine revving? That guy's wearing a weird headset. What am I watching right now? Like that caught me.
Yeah, the vampire library was pretty.
That's not even my favorite scene.
Here we are arguing about Blade fight scenes. I mean,
My favorite scene is
This
not
is
a
the first world
is not a fight
problems.
scene. Are you ready?
Go ahead.
hit us with it.
It's when he gets back to his like cool lair and Whistler is covered in that bed sheet and he has to pull it off because he knows he has to look and see what damage is done and if he's dead or not.
Does
But
it
he
without
looks
looking.
away when he does it. And then when Whistler's talking to him, he's like
Wiping the
listening,
blood.
but he's just wiping his blood. And like there was just so many layers of their relationship and like you knew that there was like so much heartache and then so much hate and all that stuff was going like you could see all that playing out in Wesley Snipe aka Blade's face and that was super cool and I thought that was a really really well done scene. Like it was very detailed and it told so much in such a short moment. And it's like, oh, okay, I get why he has to like charge into this place even though it makes absolute zero sense to not charge into that place.
Yeah, you have hard ass Blade, hard ass Whistler.
And he's all like,
I
"Get
mean,
out of here!" Like every movie where there's like a dog that's following a dude in the woods,
Yeah.
and he's like, "You don't need to come with me."
Hey, we're talking about Chris Christopherson, the Highwayman. All right.
Holy shit! How old
Um,
is this guy? He's
Well,
still
he did
alive,
great.
isn't he?
He's a great
look-
whistler.
Him and Morgan Freeman have probably been the same age for about 72 years now.
Oh my goodness, Chris
Chris Christopherson
is
looks like any
old.
dude I see panhandling over here, and
He's
He was
homeless.
still performing like 10 years ago too, I think.
yeah,
he went with Merle Haggard.
Yeah.
They were
Yeah.
both a billion.
I'm just saying he hangs out at the car wash down here by me. After he got like beaten to death, he still looked the same. There was no change. He was probably in better shape after he got beaten, you know. But yeah, I wrote that about Chris Christopherson, old Abraham Whistler. What a name!
I liked it. Abraham Whistler, catch you fuckers at a bad time. Like he was,
Yeah.
he was so cool.
Yeah.
My,
Oh man, this whole movie was fucking great.
my favorite scene was I guess when Blade was getting ready for the final fight scene, he needed energy or something, and Doc comes down there after she she's like, "Take my blood," and he like fucking grabs her and starts biting her, and it turns into a softcore porn.
I don't know.
And I was
if
like, okay,
that's-
what's happening here? How much blood does she have? Is he taking all of it? And she's probably sitting there like, no, I meant the vial that's in my hand that you can't drink. But what do you, fuck? I didn't need all that.
I wrote that
turned
down too. It was like,
Calm the fuck down, bro.
Yes.
I
that
was
turned
like,
into like.
But when the thirst takes you, it takes you, I guess.
Tell her that.
Like that fucking cobra on Macho Man's arm, you know? Like, hey, let go here. We're done. Fucking
And
Christ,
she's having,
she came jizzed in her pants a few times there.
I mean, it was highly sexually charged.
Yeah.
Well, also the other sexually charged scene that was weird was between him and his mom. I was like,
Yeah.
what the hell is happening?
Oh, vampires are known for incest, so let's
Yeah,
just
but
put-
I couldn't get it out of my head. Like I was like, oh, this is disgusting.
I've been asking that same question since this movie came out. Like, are they gonna? Is she gonna like? She's licking his face.
Yeah,
And
like,
not a way of like tasting him, but a way
she
of like.
stayed away from him
Hey.
so that
like a mother
she
tiger.
didn't try to find her son so that when he was a grown 31-year-old man, she could prey upon him without it being too weird.
Well, we've all read Oedipus Rex, so
Of course,
Herschel,
we have.
The reference, you know.
So
Brow
Herschel,
stuff.
his question was, I'm gonna read it as he wrote it here. My gripes. This
did he email
Blade is-
you or text you? I'm just
texted it.
curious. Okay.
He's Blade is having flashbacks to the day he was born. He was
That's
a very
what I was wondering.
he was a very aware baby. Like
Like, how does he
memories in his
remember
blood, I
his
guess.
mother from
I
the
think
emergency C-section? Like,
I think
what?
that just taking out of whatever the world, that the flashback scene was for the audience. I think he was just seeing a black lady vampire, and he
He
just thought about
recognized
it.
her immediately, and he was like, "Oh, you must be my mother."
Well, he's
But
been
did you
looking
guys-
at her ID picture for all his
Yeah.
life.
But did you guys notice at the beginning scene, Sabrina's favorite scene, the pregnancy, where she flatlines, but she's still reaching up
Yeah.
alive?
Yeah.
It's the flashback is just for us, the audience. You think?
Yeah,
Maybe.
That's
but then
not-
again,
it's not
maybe if
his
you're a
flashback.
vampire
yeah.
and you're like basically eternal, so long as you're able to keep feeding and everything else, like
Maybe
you
you're-
would have perfect memory or something like that. So like,
Or like your master's memories get passed down to you, or
yeah,
something,
something like this.
something along those
There's probably some
lines.
kind of weird mythos that ties in.
he also wanted to know if they're allergic to silver. How does Quinn not turn into snakes and sparklers when the sword cuts off his arm?
That's
Shoot him in the heart or the head. Anything else, that's your ass.
I'm also curious about, like, we've met his mother, and we met the guy who made his mother a vampire.
Yeah.
But who the hell is Blade's dad in this whole thing?
Let's not.
I mean,
go
I'm not
that way,
touching with
okay?
that
Let's
with a
kinda-
10-foot pole.
We don't want to
so-
get.
Okay.
I don't want to nitpick right this moment.
Okay, sorry. I was just, it
so,
came to my head and I was thinking about it. Sorry.
One thing that a big character we haven't talked about right now is the 1968 Dodge Charger.
Oh, yeah, I got that on my notes.
Yeah, I thought it was cool. I identified it right away with the tail lights, but Urschel says anybody driving a 68 Charger can't be all bad, even if it's not an RT. He says, I don't even hate the 6-pack scoop on it, but the centerline wheels are garbage.
Yeah.
So I thought my response to his take was, I'm just glad to see a vampire hunter take time to restore an American muscle car. You know, he's just like, I got some fucking vampires to kill, but you know what? I'm a car enthusiast as well.
Yeah.
Me and with probably Whistler had owned it.
That was Whistler's though. Like
Whistler
that
bought
wasn't
it.
Blade's
Bought it
deal.
new. He bought it new in 1968 when he was 75 years old.
Yeah. Oh.
You know, I did like in the movie when like when they like sped up the transition from sunrise to like sunset.
Yeah.
You know, like the
Now,
shadows
time
got
passage.
longer, and
Yeah.
I thought that was a good trend. You know, because Blade's not fighting during the daylight for the most part.
Right.
This was
But
a
it's
West
not-
Coast city, right? It's supposed to be like LA or something, or
I don't think so.
I thought it was
I thought
New
it was
York.
supposed to be
I
like
thought it was
Detroit.
New York.
New York. Yeah.
I thought I read somewhere that it's supposed to be like Detroit.
I would believe that too.
no, it can't be
Maybe.
Detroit.
Like I didn't see a milk factory nowhere near in
Yeah.
the city, so I don't think it was LA.
Yeah, it was like,
Yeah.
how was the
Down
sun
Well, that
rising?
milk factory got tore down accidentally.
So how was the sun rising in the West?
Yeah. I
Uh,
also liked, a funny take here of the. I didn't know that there was a Muppet on the Vampire High Council. Yeah.
Oh, this is weird. According to the comics, Blade takes place in New Orleans for the most part. And then he followed Morbius to New York.
That's weird.
Okay, that's weird.
Another thing, with, like Whistler and all this shit. Herschel wanted to know, why does he have to take the serum if he's going to kill the vampires anyway? Why didn't he just drink vampire? And then I had the thing, it's like every movie, when there's a syringe involved, it always goes into the neck. So
Karen shot herself up with right into her shoulder like a professional real doctor does.
like, is that supposed to freak us out that if it goes, it's going to get in the bloodstream if you put it in the leg or the arm or whatever. They always have to go in the
Send that
neck.
to everybody. Rather.
It's probably the fastest way.
No, it's not. Your blood rushes the same. Probably the heart would be the fastest. It just shoots it through there.
Oh boy.
Can we talk about Deacon Frost for a minute?
Yeah.
Before we get into
Okay,
that
okay.
too much,
used
this
to-
would be a good
Okay, sorry.
segue probably into that. Sabrina, go ahead.
No, you first. You first.
I like the
I
name
wanted to-
Frost.
I wanted to talk a little bit about Quinn.
Oh, yeah. Okay.
This is Deacon Frost's like main.
He's the
Number two.
best first mate ever. Like his loyalty does not waver.
And he's like
Don't know who Donald Logue is. Maybe
grounded for life.
he was
Grounded for life.
and so in this movie he's out of control. He's funny as shit.
Yeah.
He plays in that Gotham show too.
Yeah, but that's
yeah. Look,
much later in his career.
Definitely.
this guy. I mean, dude, he's getting a blowjob in like the first like 5 minutes of the movie and making out with a chick. He's like one or two people away from like an orgy right there on the couch.
Oh, his
it's-
hair is terrible in like 7 different ways. Like every time you see him, his hair is different and it is never good.
What are you gonna do? I mean, you gotta work something with that ginger.
that mop?
He's
Yeah,
like a vampire.
That
cop.
ginger mop.
yeah,
You cannot get rid of this guy. Like Blades even been like, I thought I killed you. He even makes reference to it at the very beginning. Like,
yeah.
I think I'm going to try to kill you with fire this time. Like,
Yeah.
apparently, Quinn just gets away every time to constantly be a thorn in Blade's side.
Yeah.
But I thought he was. I thought he was great. Losing his hand like what twice, then he loses his head. Yeah, I think he gets 2 hands cut off.
Yeah, I think that 3 hands is about the right count.
I
Yeah,
wrote
Might have
down
been 4.
I wrote down some Quinn quotes.
Fantastic, because he had some awesome ones.
Alive?
Yeah.
When the chick bites his thumb, he's like, "Ouchie, little skis."
Skis
And then
is
when
such
he
a funny
talks-
word.
That's right, yeah,
And
because it's foreshadowing to Blade 3, you know?
And then immediately after that, when he's talking to Mercury, he's like, "I should put this thumb through that shit-eating grin of yours."
Let's hold off on the cruise book quotes for now.
No, these are just general funny ass quotes.
No.
The
Quinn is a solid dude, though. Like, if you got him as your best boy, you're solid. Like,
Yeah.
he's not going to let you fail unless he fails too.
Charlie St. Cloud, you know, this boy in there. Well, Donald Logue's everywhere. He's in like every movie. You just have to look for it.
Does that bring us to Deacon then?
Yeah, where do you guys? Oh, Joe.
I mean, yeah. Let's talk about Deacon Frost. I'm cool with that.
I didn't realize, and I know I've seen him in all 7 of his movies, but I didn't. Stephen Dorff's fucking voice was that annoying, and he doesn't sound cool. And it's a nasally.
I'm the complete opposite. I thought Wesley Snipes and Stephen Dorff fucking murdered their roles in this movie.
That's fine, but they probably need to CGI that voice. Maybe get Sam Elliott to do it.
He was a
different
shyster for sure. Like, he was pretty annoying, Deacon Frost, and I was
Crazy.
always
I have him as a top 10 villain right now.
maybe
Yeah, you could
like
be a
the
good
character
villain, but
Deacon Frost
your
with, like,
voice.
He's an
actual,
angsty
like, casting,
teenager
I
with
thought.
too much wealth. And I remember thinking when I first saw this movie, how hot.
I want Blade alive. They always want the fucking main guy alive. If you have a chance to kill him, you better fucking kill him. That's what Donald Logue was trying to get across to him.
Yeah.
Well, I needed his blood.
Joe, like, I feel like you're in the middle between me and Chris.
Absolutely not.
Oh, okay.
I feel like maybe in a maybe you and I have had this conversation in our lifetimes before, but I am 100% on board with your opinion
Okay.
on Deacon Frost for sure.
Like,
For sure, absolutely, all the way.
I just thought,
100%.
yeah,
All my chips are in, dude. Dude, this. I don't want to go too. I don't want to.
Well,
Go
before
too
you
hard in
continue,
right
you've
now.
only got like $10 worth of chips, though.
but they're all in, man.
Yeah,
They're all in. They're all in.
It just
Yeah.
shows you the dedication.
I'm willing to get rid of
I
my
I like
Donald
Stephen
money.
Dorff, and I also like Deacon Frost. I thought he was an awesome character. I wish that he didn't die, so that like maybe Blade 2 and 3 wouldn't have been so bad.
He would have
You
been
know.
an awesome, like Blade the series season long villain.
Absolutely.
Maybe.
Yeah.
Well, he's a very complex character. I like it. Like the fact that he's a turned vampire gives him a lot of different kinds of experience, you know? Like he must have been turned in like, I don't know, 1940s or something like that.
And like the disregard he has for like the hierarchy and the traditions of the like, and he's like, when he's like he has the headphones in the vampire archives. He's like, quiet, it's a library, or keep your voice down, it's a library or something.
He's a game changer
Tried
for the vampires.
to be, you know. Though I also thought it was bold, that he was like, yeah, I'm gonna fucking do this and channel the blood god to me. It's like, you're
Yeah.
not a pure blood, so like, do you know that's gonna work? Like that could really kind of, depending on how this mythology works, this might not be, this could fucking end you and then the whole vampire council, and then you got a lot of
Probably probably damage your capillaries.
yeah.
I will say I haven't seen this movie in a while, and when I saw Deacon Frost appear on screen, the first thought that I had was like, this is a very late '90s movie because you could see the Rachel Green and the Chandler Bing hair all over the place.
Yeah. I thought of Pamela Anderson doing the walk of shame out of his house that one time. And I said, fucking old Deacon Frost now. Yeah.
And I also like the scene where they're making out with all the blood and shit. Fucking grossed me out.
Oh, it's
Oh,
terrible.
she just like glomped onto his tongue.
Yeah, it's weird.
Next to
but it was
another
like,
dude's ear. Like the
Oh.
guy playing the cop had to have this couple like tongue fighting on his ear covered in blood. It's weird.
It's in Stephen Dorff's contract that every time he has like a kissing scene, that it has to be the most graphic kiss you've ever seen.
I believe
Like
it.
it's in his contract. Like every girl's spoken out about it. They're like, that motherfucker was killing me with his tongue. No, I made
That girl
up.
took
That's
his
not his
tongue this time. She was just
Oh,
all
very
about that.
Plus, I was like,
popsicle.
we have to be like over the top. This is rated R. Like it's not really. There's not an envelope per se to push, but we're gonna take it to the
He
limit.
was just sharing. He just wanted her to taste the delicious blood he just took from his familiar.
Vampires are highly sexualized, That's what you have to portray in these movies.
I'm ready to move on to pet peeves and my general movie notes. Joe, I know you probably have a bunch of notes, and the rest of you guys. So, I'm just gonna go down in semi-chronological order, and feel free to share, bounce, or bring up your notes as well.
Okie doke.
The first note I got is Karen and Curtis. I don't believe that they were in a relationship ever. Okay. And then Curtis asking about their relationship during the autopsy was kind of like inappropriate.
It seems
Definitely
like
inappropriate.
it seems like
Yeah.
that whole like angle was like forced in there.
Yeah.
Like even
Yeah.
the more I watch and try to justify it, like the callback later, it's still as stupid as shit.
Yeah. it didn't
Yeah.
fit.
Like I could,
mean-
like it could be just a coworker. There's just be like,
Yeah.
man, are we together?
It didn't do
like, no.
anything for the movie at all.
No.
Like,
That whole scene in the end, like, was just dumb. Like, what
Like,
is
why
he
was
the
he
only
still-
vampire that doesn't heal?
I was
Like-
why
Well,
is
he's
he
an
done?
anomaly. He's a zombie, essentially.
He's
The
Zombie
vampire thing.
Zombie, I believe.
Sabrina,
Why
shut your
did they-
curtains.
Why did they keep him? And why did they keep Karen alive for that either, too? Like, at the end, like, just finish her off. She was just supposed to be bait for Blade, right? They don't need her for anything.
Right over it.
You want me to turn the curtain off?
Well, you look like you just looked at the Ark of the Covenant.
Yeah.
Or it's not good for the blood countess to be exposed to all that
I know.
UV light.
And,
I'm good. Thank you for
yeah.
looking after my well-being, y'all.
Yeah, my last pet peeve about Curtis specifically is like, why does his accent change when he turned into a zombie vampire? That shit annoyed me too for some weird reason.
I didn't notice. I was too busy nitpicking the other things.
The one trait he picked up from Donald Logu when he got bit. It's like have weird random accents now.
When Blade dropped off Karen at her apartment the first time, I noticed like, why does the city have so much newspaper just flying around?
Yeah.
There's like an excessive amount of newspaper.
I mean, it's a major city. I mean, you saw how much trash floated around during lockdown and COVID and everything. Is still masks everywhere.
For the
And then-
people that don't live in big
Well,
cities. are
before
like,
that,
oh, they're
before
filthy,
she
look at
drops
it.
him off, all I could think was, why doesn't he carry those garlic shots with him so that when he finds a bite victim, he can just boop and cure people before they turn.
There wasn't a cure until she developed that.
No, but they give when they bring her back to their
because it costs money and they don't have it.
Yeah.
You can't just be carrying around shots for victims when it costs money.
If the government can provide Narcan to drug addicts, he can get some fucking some sort of a grant for these garlic shots.
Well, also, he throws her out of a window across the street onto a shitty canopy, and all that she is injured is like a dislocated shoulder. That was so
you saw
unbelievable.
the soft landing.
Woo!
There's a soft
Man.
landing there.
That was the luckiest thing that could have happened to her.
I
Are you
thought it was
saying
nice.
that? Are you saying that a day walking vampire doesn't know how to throw a human off a building and let her land as safely as possible? That's unbelievable.
Well,
Is
she's
that what you're
already
going
been
with?
exhausted. Like, she has zero ability to protect herself.
Okay.
Yeah,
They're gonna
but
die
it's
on
like
She can't
that-
tuck and roll. She's already been like sucked out of some of her blood, and she's all faint and woozy.
Yeah, it's like a drunk driver though in a car crash. You know, they don't get hurt as much because their body's all loose and limp. You know, same scientific principle.
All I know is I watched that dummy that rolled, and I was like, "Oh God, that person is dead." Like,
Speaking on, yeah, go for it, Joe.
Let me just jump in there real quick about, because that reminds me of something that I didn't write down, but Blade throws her out of that window, and I mean, it's out of the window across the street onto the roof of the building next across the street.
yeah.
So I mean, it's a long distance for someone to throw. We know that Blade has like all the good traits of vampires and none of the bad.
Yeah.
But you never really get to see the power of Blade at all in this movie. I guess it's because he's always fighting vampires. So it's like, it'd be like
It's a fair fight. Yeah.
It's a fair fight. But
It's
I mean,
like Superman
so
fighting other Kryptonians.
Yeah.
It makes it look normal.
Right. That's what I was, and so you only see like he throws her, that's one. Number two is right after that when he jumps across that thing, and then superhero lands, ping, super cool time. And then outside of that, I'm trying to think of what else he does. It's like
he saves the little girl in Chinatown.
He saves the little girl in Chinatown. Yeah.
When he drops down,
super speed.
When he drops down behind Karen at the warehouse, super silent.
Yeah.
But see, that could be a ninja. I mean, there's a lot of like human beings that have the ability to drop down without making a sound. That to me, I mean, I guess if we're going that loose with how many times he shows, you actually get to see Blade having like, magical powers.
He did it pretty quickly.
He showed up behind Karen too, like when she wakes up at first and she's like, "I gotta get out of this crazy place," and he just pops up behind her.
I don't mean to jump around, but I'm triggering memories right now.
Yeah.
And I'm speaking on Chris Christopherson's badassness when he's filling up the tank with gas and he's just pouring the gas all over the place.
Oh,
and
it's
then
everywhere.
And then
gas was $1 back then.
He just pours gas everywhere. I did write that down because I was like, holy shit.
He starts pumping before he even gets into the car.
And then he puts all that gas all over the place. He lights up his cigarette. Like, what a fucking
all over his hands. Like, oh my God.
Just wasteful with gas and blood. They don't know how valuable that stuff would be now in these times.
2023 vision.
Soaking up rags, wringing it out.
Got pipes filled with blood, painted like JP5, color. Like, hey, bring it on.
And then you guys mentioned that little girl, like, Deacon straight up, he like literally throws a child through a hot dog stand. Like, I don't know if anybody picked up on that.
Yeah, it's pretty crazy. I'm like, why is she not dead or like having half her bones broken?
She just looks exhausted and her hair's all blown out.
Yeah.
But she was really like strangely calm. Like he's holding her up by her face and she's just like, I'm just going to be quiet and hang on.
It's because, Discipline. She's Asian,
The fear of
karate and
death.
stuff. So,
Or maybe he was using one of my other favorite vampire traits of mind control.
Mind control. Hypnosis.
Yep. Hypnosis.
there you go.
Possibly. I doubt it. But I think she's
Brain
terrified.
scramblers and stuff.
Well, he
like that.
was
Definitely.
He did call
For
Blade like,
thing.
and what is that? Telepathically?
Yeah.
Is that something that vampires can suddenly do? Like they didn't use that skill the entire movie, and then all of a sudden you hear Blade, and he's like in his head.
I think so.
Well, that's weird.
Punch holes in this movie.
There's a bunch of
Well, technically, Deacon is the one that turned his mother, and so there is a little connection between Blade and Deacon.
They share some DNA, you think?
The same virus strand.
So that makes it easier for him to telepathically talk to him?
Could be.
Okay, well, whatever.
Anybody else got anything in their notes?
Yeah, like a million things, but
I thought it would have been way funnier and cooler if when Donald Logue jumps out the window if he turned into a bat.
yeah.
Straight
There's
up
only like
bat.
one bat reference. I did think like when Blade is like yelling at Karen after like the whole fight with the cop and that's not a cop thing happens. Well, first of all, he breaks all of her furniture and she's like, is that necessary? It is definitely not necessary. Like he could have
regards for her apartment.
He could have just very easily subdued that man, but instead he chose to just break absolutely anything that he could.
And she's a hematologist, so you know those are antiques and not just like thrift store finds.
Yeah.
Tend to get out
This
of
is your regular.
Anyway, so.
This guy's a cop 3 months out of the academy. You could have taken him out with just a couple punches.
And you know that because his watch is a fake. He can't afford a real nice watch. I don't know. That was weird. Oh, but I was thinking about the speech he gives to her about this isn't a sugar-coated blah, 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 and wake up and pull the trigger and everything. That felt like something some really salty sailor would say to me. Like when you get to a new command and you're all like, I'm ready to do a good job. And then some salty sailor comes up to you and be like, you'll lose that smile soon, rookie. You know?
I said almost the exact same thing to Ryan Cosper when he checked on board.
Yeah.
I thought you said that to Sabrina in Cuba.
Probably.
I said that you guys met.
I said that to a lot of sailors.
It felt so familiar in the weird way, so it might be possible.
Like the
it was also like she was like a scaredy cat literally 10 seconds before then, she gets that pep talk as they go into the Mr. Fluffy's fucking research den there. And then she's all of a sudden she's a badass now because she has the fucking flashlight.
Yeah, I was wondering, how does she learn karate? Where did she go through training?
Like she went from like naive, like this is all, like overwhelmed, scared, human being into I'm just gonna fry the fuck out of this thing in the most horrific way possible.
Oh my god, his torture, like that Pearl dude was not gonna do anything dangerous. There was absolutely nothing you could do dangerous, and she was like, I just feel like killing something.
Keep in mind, I agree with killing of the vampire scourge.
Yeah.
I'm all about that. Like that thing has to go to that. I mean, how the fuck did you get so fat as a vampire, dude? I don't understand.
Do you want to know the answer?
Is there canon?
Yeah, there's backstory to him.
Really? Nice.
Yeah. Apparently, it's just this director hated babies because we got the scene where Deacon throws a little girl through the hot dog stand. The backstory to Pearl was that he got that fat from just eating purely babies.
Ew.
And
that shit out of the movie.
And then there's also
Like how people eat like veal.
yeah.
Aww.
And apparently there's also like talks about Whistler was the weapon designer and he tested all his weapons on vampire
Don't
babies.
see it.
Vampire babies.
Yeah.
Oh my god.
Crazy. Okay. Is that in the
Even a
comic books, or is
vampire
that
baby, I don't think I could kill
for
it.
this movie.
Oh, and they cut that shit out.
Yeah. And then
oh my god.
In the comics, they retcon a lot of stuff in the comics based on this movie, and then there's a universe where the Marvel universe becomes vampires, and the Kingpin turns into Pearl by the same means.
Oh, because it's a delicacy.
Yeah.
He becomes a vampire, and then he gains massive amount of weight because he can't control himself.
It's a delicacy.
Okay.
That's so
but she killed the absolute. She fried that fat son of a gun.
It's like the worst thing he could have done was tell him that, hey, Blade is here, but
okay,
they were just on fucking Zoom with Deacon like 2 seconds ago, so obviously he knows.
Pearl was gross enough without like the fart sounds.
Yeah.
By the way, like
I hate fart jokes.
It was just so crude, and I was like, "Come on, Blade, you're better than that." Like,
but we're not.
Disgusting.
I agree.
Excessive amount of torture, and just disgusting for no reason.
I thought it was kind of corny that that it was like, "Oh, you're bit by a vampire." Garlic.
Essence of garlic.
Essence of garlic shot into your neck.
I'm pretty sure that would actually kill you.
I'm pretty sure
or make you violently ill. Like,
I just don't think that I don't know. It just seems like that was kind of like lazy. Like at least like I don't know, throw some numbers and some letters or something in there so that it sounds like a compound.
No, he just goes to some like random dude's
or
homeopathic shop.
just call it like compound W or something.
Yeah, I'm just like
Who's this weird apothecary?
Has that been sterilized, sir? Before you.
And then one last thing on this essence of garlic injection. This is actually after that. He goes to pick up some serum from like his serum dealer.
Yeah.
That guy's never referenced ever again. There's 3 fucking movies.
Yeah.
I guess later in this movie, he does say, I need to go downtown, get some more serum.
Yeah.
But he's only been out of serum for 2 weeks. The guy just told him that he's a week early on getting serum. So he's been there like the last like 2 or 3 days. So, I mean, anyway.
Doesn't Karen develop a new serum for him in Blade 2?
Maybe.
Or the end of Blade 1 or something.
We're not watching that movie. It doesn't matter.
But I'm just saying, like the dude that runs like this weird,
Western
apothecary
medicine,
apothecary thing,
or
and
Eastern
he's
medicine,
like,
maybe.
"Oh yeah, he's paying this guy in watches to make this serum, and he's never referenced again."
He paid him with a watch. Is that why it mattered that the cop's watch was fake?
Yes.
Yeah.
Oh shit! I just realized that. I was like,
that's a circle. That's a full circle right there.
Thank you. I have like one of those per episode we do, by the way. I'm just like, oh.
I think so.
Joe, just for like things that bother me in movies, like you said, garlic, also called the stinky rose, something like that. But when they're doing, there's characters like you guys say at the beginning, they're doing the autopsy, and I hate it when they're like talking to each other during the autopsy, and they go, puncture in the upper thoracic cavity, the peritoneum has been disabled. It's like, shut up.
Oh,
it's burned to a fucking crisp.
Yeah. My pet peeve, Chris, is when they're doing the autopsy, the doctor is so comfortable that he's eating his sandwich in the room.
Yeah.
It's disgusting.
Yeah.
Eating the sandwich and stuff.
Puts it on the cadaver's chest or something. And
That's against so many health codes, I'm positive.
They're dead. You know, they're not getting any complaints.
We talk about that after we afterwards.
Yeah.
Ugh. Um. Oh, one of my pet peeves was that Karen just walked into a hospital and stole a bunch of giant medical equipment and put it and like set it up within like, I don't know, 8 hours and solved a cure in less than 24 hours. Like, what the hell? This tiny little woman just walked into a hospital and stole all this equipment and nobody batted an eye. The person who's been kidnapped and like, whatever.
I can tell you, it's pretty easy to take shit out of a lab and just walk out with it. Like, oh, that's.
She mentioned
probably taking that to work on it.
She mentions EDTA. Don't we use that in some of our buffers and stuff like that?
Yeah.
But that's the stuff
It's
that
all
makes the
coming full
blood cells
circle for Adam
explode.
now. Let me tell you something. If she's figuring shit out in 8 hours, we wouldn't have jobs.
Speaking on them being poor, and my pet peeve is Blade has a lot of reusable weapons that he always has to remake and pay for, like the silver stakes. Like after he kills a vampire, bro, pick up your shit, put it back in your arsenal, and you don't have to fucking steal that much Rolexes for the future. You know what I'm saying?
True.
Yeah, that's when I watch old movies like in the medieval times, and I just think back in the day, I was like, how did they make arrows back then? And they're just shooting a shit ton in this movie. There's got to be somebody after the battle's over. You know how we used to pick up brass? We had to pick up brass after we shoot. Somebody had to go out there and get all the fucking arrows out of the field because we can't make 10,000 more arrows by the next battle.
Like I want to see a scene where after the blood rage scene and all the cops are gone, Wesley Snipes sneaks back in and picks up all his stakes and stuff to be used again.
Yeah, especially if they're silver.
Yeah,
or whatever.
That's valuable.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Anything else?
I only had one more pet peeve. There is an ancient underground vampire temple
It is a pet
in
peeve
a major U.S. city.
Oh,
is it a hot take? I thought we weren't doing hot takes.
Let's save it for your hot take.
I'm super confused. Either way, I don't like it.
I didn't understand how that, like, it seemed like the ancients just forgot what that temple was used for.
When I thought he read schematics for a proposed temple and then built it, but then when I was rewatching it, it sounds like it was already there and he just unearthed it and like put electric lights in it.
It looked like maybe it was under construction. It's hard to gauge.
Yeah.
I don't know which one is like it's not explained, but he also said it's an ancient temple. And I was like, was it designed by the ancients or was it built by the ancients? I want clarification.
Also enthralled by this movie, I overlooked that.
It looked exactly like Mr. Miyagi's dad's dojo in Karate Kid 2. So maybe they just reused that.
Yeah.
But yeah, it was.
Yeah.
Maybe that could be the hot take.
They really want to eat that Cooper in a bag.
I like the way that this movie had sweet sound effects during fight scenes. Like it was like throughout the entire thing. It was awesome. Like it was everybody's fights were snapping punches and karate chops. Oh yeah, I guess because they are vampires and they were fighting that hard.
And they did this one camera trick. They did it like once where at the end, at the final, when he's going through everybody and he kicks the dude in the chest and the camera like moves with the kick.
Oh yeah.
And it makes it look super like they did that once, but it was so impactful. I thought it was fucking sick.
Let's see.
Hot take?
Yeah, let's do hot takes.
Oh shit. I think I already gave mine away. I guess.
your biggest hot take. You want to start, Chris?
I'll start with Herschel.
Okay.
There you go.
He had a few. I'll just pick one out here. He stabs his mom with a bone in the stomach, and she turns into snakes and sparklers. Doesn't seem that immortal to me.
He killed her. He stabbed her in the heart with a bone.
My hot take was they mentioned they're going to put you on a milk carton. Do we still have milk cartons in the late 90s? Did anybody?
Yeah.
And
At
were they still
school,
putting
but-
fucking missing kids on them in the late 90s?
No, there
never
wasn't that
in my
many
life
kids
saw a
missing.
missing
Or
kid.
And I'll tell you this, when I did see a missing kid in the fucking early 80s, I'm eating my cereal on a Saturday morning watching cartoons, and I see that little kid missing somewhere in Vermont. I'm like, I'm not fucking finding her. And if you did see, if you had a picture of a missing person as your screensaver on your phone and you walked past them, you wouldn't know. You'd be like, kind of look like them, but who knows? Like, you can't make milk carton references in a vampire movie, you know?
never transferred well.
None
to
of
the
those
carton
fucking people
anyways.
are drinking milk. No vampires are drinking milk. Why do they care what's on a milk carton? They're not shopping at the grocery store. It's closed by the time they wake up.
They understand the reference, though. They've been around humans long enough.
Hey, you know what happens when we kill their fucking we kill these humans? They put their fucking pictures on milk cartons. Did you see that?
Crazy.
Yeah.
I think that's a solid hot take. I have no rebuttal for it.
It makes
Andy,
sense.
what's your biggest hot take?
A lot of hate crimes in this movie.
Yeah.
A lot of hate crimes.
I want to say this. I think Deacon Frost is a black middleweight boxer's name in a movie. It sounds like if they were making a boxing movie, that would be a boxer's name.
Yeah. Solid boxer. Yeah.
I want to go next because mine is sort of in line with Andy's hot take.
Okay.
I want to hear Andy's full-on take before we.
Yeah. Get the whole thing.
I mean,
sorry, Andy, go for it.
This is a lot of
Did you list them?
black men beating up the white man. Blades beating up Deacon Frost, who's this white man here. We have he beats up the cop. Man, it's just a lot of hate crime going on. Then Karen has to fight, her former white ex-boyfriend and everything there in the dungeon or whatever.
Yep, a lot of hate crimes. White hate crimes.
Yeah.
Maybe that's an
quite a
undertone.
stretch. It's quite a stretch.
And that's a hell of a hot take. I went the other way with my hot take though is sort of on the same thing. Is if the vampire council was so into tradition and into their pure blood versus turned vampires, this all could have been avoided had they just not allowed Deacon Frost into their council in the first place. Keep your prejudices and don't let this this turned vampire dude into your council. That's my hot take.
Yeah, I don't know. I mean, I guess because it seems like he's seeking audience with the council.
Yeah.
So he's
I didn't realize he was part of the council.
I don't think he was part of the council, but they allowed it. They gave him an inch and he took a mile.
Yeah.
They should have never allowed it in the first place.
Yeah, he should have been just putting everything he wanted to say. Should have just went in the fucking council suggestion box by the door, and that's it. That fucking Frost guy again.
It was in vampire lore, it always seems like the purebloods always reign supreme over those that have been turned.
Yeah,
and they're like their powers are so much greater than their vampire powers are even more vampire powers.
Yeah.
They're even faster. They're even stronger. They've killed a million people. They've lived for 8,000 years or whatever. I mean, that guy could have there was multiple opportunities for any member of the council to just smack Deacon Frost in the face and kill him.
Yeah.
Shit, down in the library. That could have been the end of Deacon Frost. That guy's a pureblood. Why didn't he just put his hand through Deacon Frost's chest?
Exactly.
Everything I've seen about vampires, it's always about the number ones in charge are always the purebloods.
The purebloods,
And
Yeah,
then,
or like what family's lineage and everything.
it's all lineage and how pure your blood is in the vampire game. Even like somebody's dipshit cousin Tommy, but he's a pureblood. He's a higher rank than if say Einstein got turned into a vampire.
Yeah.
His opinion would be regarded more than fucking vampire Einstein.
Yeah. Okay, that's a good. I like what you just said. Now, how are they picking these people they're going to turn? What is about
Have you
these people?
seen
We're going to
Deacon
turn
Frost,
them.
dude?
We're going to murder
He's
these
fucking
dudes.
Rad.
Like at the beginning, that kid that
Those
Tracy
beautiful
Lord
eyes
took,
and that frosted tip hair.
it's like they beat the shit out of him in the club. They were beating him. I was like, why are they beating this guy? Are they tenderizing the meat? What are they doing here? Are they supposed to kill him, or are they going to turn him into a vampire? I didn't get
Hit
it.
him, and it just brings the blood out through different parts of his body, so he's more easily shared.
So it's like they all get up
Gets
to
his
the teeth.
adrenaline pumped up and gets him even more scared. And then they get all that extra hormones in the blood.
Yeah,
The white blood
now we're in
count,
like adrenochrome territory.
the white blood
it's
count.
Hollywood.
Child
As-
molesters.
Sabrina, what's your hottest take?
um,
Do you want to review?
well, I just kind of starred all of my multiple hot takes. So I'm just going to list them out real fast. And if you want to talk about any of them, we'll go for it. But Karen is useless to the vampires after she's used as bait. So why do they like tease her around? Why don't they just kill her or turn her or whatever? Just no sense in playing with her. It's just a setup for disaster.
I'll say that they don't really know what zombie vampires are like, so I want to say they're using her as an experiment with zombie vampires.
Well, they did a terrible job. They didn't come up with any kind of, holding facility or anything. So these cool vampires come up with an amazing sunblock and sunglasses, and they can just go fucking outside whenever. So, like, why are they having such a trouble getting into society when they have ways around it? Like, what's the big deal?
I will say that you're putting
Move up here where it's cool to be pasty.
you're putting essentially your life on full coverage the entire time you're outside. That's all I got. That's why I say they don't do it.
Well,
It's
I think for some of them it would be worth the risk, don't you think?
No, you'll literally die. It's like if the sun will if the sun will give you skin cancer if you're not wearing sunscreen.
Yeah.
Are you going to take the chance? Like, as soon as the UV hits you, you get skin cancer. Are you going to take the chance of the sunscreen wearing off at a weird time where you can't get?
Or if you miss a spot,
Then
Yeah.
that's why you keep Karen around.
That's why you have another person help you apply. Anyway,
Just imagine.
they have their ways to get around if they need to. So I'm saying, like, they could help themselves more, Anyways, back to the ancient temple. Was it built by the ancient ancestors, or was it just designed by the ancient ancestors and then Deacon decided to build it? Who knows? Nobody knows. Where is Blade's dad?
that's really the hot take there.
Not getting into
And
that.
make up my mind. Is vampirism a genetic disorder or a virus or a disease? All of these words are used to describe vampirism, and I just want to know what it is, because if they can't define it, then there's absolutely zero way to cure it, right?
Would have
I
to be
don't know.
genetic if most of the high council or whatever were talking about how they were born vampires, like
It's a genetic thing, right?
Yeah, like however it started, I'm not sure, but like clearly then it becomes a genetic disorder if you're a pure blood because
You can't cure your genes. So once a virus rewrites your genetic code, even if that's what it's doing, you can't unwrite your genetic changes. I don't know. Very confusing. I need a doctor.
Medicist.
Oh yeah. Karen loots a hospital by herself. Like, that's just not believable to me. Not with that much equipment. And has it all
probably
set up.
wasn't Detroit then.
9 to 5, they stole a body. The wrong person out of the hospital.
If they could steal a body.
And that was in the 70s.
We weren't doing hot takes for that, okay?
Yeah, but I'm
Okay?
just saying, like, you know.
Just saying, this is a lot of medical equipment. Nobody once thought to ask her, look for an invoice, anything.
Probably stole from the hospital she works at. So, like, oh, it's just putting in them weird
Chris
hours.
will tell you
The last time they saw her, she was getting bitten and chased out and kidnapped, though.
Yeah.
That's a weird thing to, like, just show up and be like, oh, I need all this medical equipment.
Chris will tell you some of these universities or places with money, they have our equipment in storage rooms and they don't know where the fuck they're at. So
yeah.
So maybe she raided a university. And
yeah,
that
it's easy to tell people what you're doing as well.
Well, my last hot take is, why are all of these high elite vampire dudes such wimps? Like, they don't put up a single fight to try to get out of their situation. Like, they just roll over and say, well, I guess we have to give in to this new order. That doesn't make any sense.
Vampires for centuries.
Yeah.
It's like
complacency, uncomfortable.
I know.
Yeah. Maybe they thought it wouldn't work anyway, so like fuck it. We'll laugh at them later, I guess. I don't know.
Well, but they go through with it? Like, no, if somebody was like, I'm gonna need you to come down to the temple and I'm gonna threaten, like, he had already taken out that one guy and brought him and killed him. Yeah. So they knew he was serious.
Well, it happens now in society. That's why we got to refer to Adam as a Latinx.
I don't think that's quite the same thing. But anyways, those are all my hot takes.
Joe.
All right. It's not really a hot take anymore. I mean, the subject's already been talked about, but Deacon Frost is one of my favorite villains in a movie of all time. I mean,
Darth Vader.
He said one of his favorites. Calm down.
I'm not saying he's the best villain of all time.
Exactly.
You know, but I mean,
I think he's a good villain cast poorly.
He's cool as shit.
He's cast poorly?
Yeah. Oh, dude, I'm not gonna search the name of Steven Dorff.
As a young teen, like a preteen, when this movie came out, I will tell you, he was cast perfectly.
Everything about Deacon Frost is cool. I mean, he has.
That.
Are you serious?
Yeah.
After
guy,
we get done.
I remember being like, what? I was 11 when this movie came out, and like,
what he wears?
He exudes sexual energy, and like, I'm a fucking cool badass.
I think I enjoy him now, 40-year-old Adam, more than I enjoyed him in my teens, early 20s.
I thought this guy was rad as shit the entire. Dude, he's a super cool bad guy.
He's smoking in the face of those vampire.
He's smoking in the face. Yeah, I mean, everything about him is cool. Have you seen the clothes that he wears?
He has rubber duckies in his cool penthouse pool.
His top 5 vampire traits, number 1 vampire trait. He loves fine ladies.
He gives 0 fucks.
You don't see vampires hanging out with ugly bitches.
All over. He picks up mad chicks, vampire chicks, and parties with them constantly. He keeps a pretty cool crew.
He's so cool that Quinn says, hey, he picks up women by saying he'll introduce them to Deacon Frost. That's how fucking cool he is.
That was a funny
Great
moment too, because
style.
when he doesn't pay attention, he's all like, "Well, he's just like laser focused right now."
Yeah. Deacon Frost is a really cool bad guy.
Top 10 villain.
He's an awesome bad guy. And Steven Dorff, this guy should have been way more famous. He's cool. He's a cool dude.
I think him of as a lesser Chris Pine.
Okay.
They insult to Chris Pine.
I said he's a lesser Chris Pine.
Still.
Like this guy with some work could be maybe Chris Pine. But now I want to see Chris Pine as a villain.
Yeah, you can watch
Horrible
Smoking
Bosses
Aces.
Broken Aces, yeah.
Horrible Bosses too.
No, he was just a
Yeah.
psychopath there. He wasn't like a straight up like villain mastermind.
Bad guy.
But I want to be like a villain mastermind like this guy.
That's my hot take. That Steven Dorff, Deacon Frost, it's a cool name. He's a cool villain. He dresses awesome. He does all the cool things that you would want to do if you were a bad guy.
It's
He
clearly
was missing. The only thing he was missing was a wall made out of TVs. Would have had that.
he had the cool
He would've-
headset.
Yeah, he was pumping techno the whole time while he's deciphering ancient vampiric
I
code.
just want to say this hot take argument between Andy and Joe, I could actually envision it at breakfast on the nest decks.
Yeah.
Right.
It's
That's
clearly
the best.
A good hot take because they can argue.
Yeah.
He's going a little bit overboard, but
Seems controversial.
But it's
He's
okay.
matching.
It's okay.
He's matching your nice reference there. Overboardness.
No
Nice.
pun intended.
Uh,
Or pun intended.
Pun
probably.
very intended.
Yeah, very intended. Anybody got any last minutes before I move on to my final category?
No,
it's
I'm ready for the
No, I
club
should
names.
probably stop.
Well, I'm not
Also-
ready to do.
well, a quick question, I guess. I get the segues into the club names if we're going into that.
Nope, we're not.
Okay, then do whatever you're gonna do, and I'll bring up this later.
Okay, last month I said that this movie was a better action movie than Commando. I had the privilege of picking both Commando and this movie. And I've referenced like the couple of things that I look for in an action movie. So
Yeah.
now I just want to get your guys' opinion on which movie did it better, Commando or Blade. And I want to start with the unfortunately the loadout scene.
Commando
movie
does the
did it?
loadout scene better.
My vote's Commando.
Yeah. Commando.
Mando.
Just because there was more to load out, really.
Yeah.
Yep.
Yeah.
The self-healing, self-medicating, self-bandaging scene, Commando or Blade.
Blade doesn't really do that. Like,
He kind of injects himself with the serum.
Now he's a real
Mando.
wimp too, because he's all like, "Oh, my shoulder's dislocated." Ah.
that's Karen.
And then
That's
Karen had to do it.
Blade in the subway. He injects himself with the serum.
Yeah. No,
He's like,
Commando
"Oh, no,
does
get
the
away from me."
self-healing because it was a little bit more.
I thi-
It's different.
I think it's a draw.
No, it's definitely Commando.
Commando. Joe.
Yeah.
Mando.
We're an audio podcast. I'm gonna need you guys to vocalize your decision.
Commando.
You're right. It's Commando on self-medicating.
Yeah.
Number 3, ample one-liners and specific, and a bonus is if you end the movie with a good one-liner, like kill the main villain with a good one-liner.
Yeah.
So
I mean,
I don't remember what Blade's one-liner
that's,
was.
that's tough because I mean Arnold's the king of
Motherfuckers
one-liners.
are
so
always
but
trying to
there are
ice
some
skate
good one-liners.
uphill.
Yeah. What did
Some good
what
one-liners.
did he say at the end in Moscow?
Oh, that's not the ending one-liner. It's motherfuckers are always trying to upskate Ice Hill when he kills fucking
Yeah,
Deacon
yeah.
Frost.
Upskate
Versus
Ice Hill.
Commandos is
Hill.
what's that?
Commandos is
You said upskate Ice Hill.
Oh, you know what I'm trying to say.
I know, but it was
Skate uphill.
really fun to hear it said.
Thought I misheard you, and then she said it. I went, "Yep, that's
yeah.
right."
I still say let off some steam, Bennett, to people. I used to have a guy named Bennett in my division on the Carl Vincent. I used to say that shit. I used to say just one-liners to him all the time with Bennett at the end. Go do sweepers, Bennett, and I would do it in like an Arnold accent. Everything I would tell him to do. So
I
go with
think that
Commando.
the better one. Commando had, I think, with the Commando they had more
Funnier.
one-liners, but I think a better one-liner, I'm gonna give it to Blade. I like it. Motherfuckers are always trying to. There's some motherfuckers always trying to ice skate uphill.
Yeah. Sorry, you said it better.
Yeah.
And that was
quality. Yeah, I guess you could.
Quality over quantity with this one.
Yeah. It's a.
I'm gonna give this one a draw personally.
Draw?
I'm giving it a draw because the sheer volume of one-liners from Commando.
It's
impressive.
Pounding you with them, so
that's all Arnold does.
But if I was
all
only
one-liner.
Yeah, if I was only basing it off this, the final kill on the boss one-liner, I mean, let off some steam, then it's pretty good.
It's pretty good.
Yeah, it's great actually. I mean, I don't know now.
Draw.
I'm drawing it. I'm drawing it.
Draw it is.
Remember when I said to kill you last? I lied. That's a great one.
Yeah, that's
pretty good, Andy. That's pretty good.
What'd you do with Sully? I let him go.
Right. Exactly. I mean, Arnold's the king of one-liners, and it's a stacked deck.
It's just what he does, man.
I give it a draw on the quality and quantity.
All right. Number 4, minimal love story.
Blade. 100% Blade. There's no love story. That's why they had to shoehorn in the loose college love that might have existed between Karen and Todd or whatever his name was.
Yeah. And then the softcore porn scene.
There's like no love story in either one of. Well, in the version of Commando that I made up in my head, there's a really great love story.
You have a really good one.
So
check out Commando season 1, episode 4.
Yeah.
So if we're gonna go with the version I have in my head, then I have to go with Blade.
Cooler number 2 antagonist. So the number 2 guy. So Bennett versus Quinn.
Quinn's cooler.
I'll go
Bennett
with
has a chainmail sleeve.
He has that weird chainmail shit.
I'll go with Blade because even though he admitted that he was doing like a Freddie Mercury type thing with his chainmail and mustache.
Yeah.
I'm going Blade. Blade.
Yeah.
I just love Quinn. Quinn was good.
You can slice them and you can dice them, but the Quinn man keeps on coming.
Yeah.
Which movie had a better motivation for keeping the protagonist alive till the very end?
Who are we keeping alive?
He wasn't.
I just added this because of Chris. I think Chris mentioned that they always want him alive. And I think
you mean Frost wanted to keep Blade alive.
Yeah.
There was better motivation to keep Blade alive.
Yeah.
They needed his blood to actively be flowing. Whereas with Commando, they didn't need
But I guess I'm asking personally, which movie did you like that the protagonist had to be kept alive till the very end?
Well, Commando had more no, not really, because
you got to keep them
it's
alive.
your daughter versus your family. It's still family versus family.
We don't know where Blade's dad is. We don't know where Jenny's mom was. But now Ray Don Chong is going to step up. And I would say to keep alive, it's kind of hard because I would sit there and think that out of the 21,417 bullets that were fired at Matrix, none of them hit him. At least one's got to hit. I don't care if you went to stormtrooper shooting ranges or not, but and then
so I guess we'll go back to
vampires are running from Blade instead of swarming him and just attacking him all at once.
So I guess
he did a better job at staying alive.
No, well, we'll go back to the movie where Arnold Schwarzenegger needed to be kept alive so that they could put the dude back into power, and Blade needed to be kept alive to bring back La Magra and give Quinn, or not Quinn, but Deacon Frost superpowers. Like, which movie had a better reasoning?
More important for Blade to stay alive until the
Blade.
very end in order
Blade.
for
Because there's other ways to manipulate the government.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's a longer path for the other guy to take over that country, but
There was only one. There's
It's
only
a longer
one
path to take over the
Blade.
country.
yeah.
I love
Only Blade.
I love Andy, how he has to he goes to that extra level to justify it. So with all these things said and done, which was a better action movie? Commando or Blade? Based on my criteria.
Yeah, that's
I don't know. What were our totals just now? We just told you.
I don't know. It's just for fun.
I like Commando.
I think Blade is it's narrow, but I feel like Blade edges it out
Edges it out.
somehow.
I think so too.
Like, even though probably the scoreboard probably favors Commando, but I think it was a little bit something more about Blade. I don't know what it is.
I wish I could hear Herschel's opinion.
If
He would say Commando.
Yeah.
I'm Blade all day. If I'm getting ready to get thrown on an island or something.
Yeah, Desert Island.
One or two, you only get one of these two movies, and it's Commando and Blade. I'm like, every time, I'm like, give me Blade.
I'm gonna go with that too, Blade, because there's more story to Blade. There's more investment into it. I could rewatch it and see a different detail or a different angle, perhaps. Whereas Commando,
is that
Commando's just it's pure action. So like they try to put some story in there, but the story really doesn't matter. It's just an excuse to like shoot a lot of guns and blow shit up. Like,
pretty cool.
It's a fake story.
I don't remember any ambiguous boobs in Blade. If there's boobs in Blade, I'm gonna pick Blade.
No, they were all like heroin chic skinny.
Yeah.
Hero boobs.
That was how we liked our women in the 90s.
Apparently. This is why I have so many issues with my body today, I guess.
Just kidding. We had Jenny McCarthy.
That's where I was raised.
Carmen
Let's
Electra.
move on to some extra military instruction. I want to start off with since Andy had a question that would segue into our things.
What, like, was the name of that club in the opening scene, was it called Bloodbath, or was that the DJ's name? Like,
yeah, I saw it.
It was a little bit. I was trying to wonder which way that went.
I think
the more I watched
what happened was, like,
I think it was the
feeling
announcement.
You're feeling the beat, and you know that, and like you're at the club. All right, Andy, get your head with me, bro.
Right.
And you boom, boom, boom. I'm beating the
But
beat
like
up.
it was up there the whole time.
And then it kind of like the camera pans to it, Bloodbath, and everyone in there's like, oh shit, what we've been waiting for, and then it hits as the beat drops. I think Bloodbath is like the signal that everyone's kind of waiting for. Like, when like your favorite band's gonna play their song.
It's like when air horns go off in Jamaican music.
Fucking thing, and like the sign dropped down and like unrolled the flag that said Bloodbath or anything. Like,
you're
it
right,
was there like
kind
of the whole time. Like, we didn't cut to the camera, but it wasn't like they showed it like,
But that's when they lit it up, Andy. They didn't light
maybe that's
it
when
up.
the lights hit it. I see what you're saying. I agree.
Yeah,
Andy,
you get it.
It would have been better if it had like. I agree. If it would have been like falling down and like some shit happened, and then it was like.
But this was a makeshift club
it's a meatpacking plant
in a meat facility. I think that's as good as they could do.
Like the theme, I don't know.
I would say, with all that information, I would say it's the DJ name.
Right?
DJ Bloodbath.
Right? Yeah,
that's a pretty sick name.
Yeah.
That's a hot take.
Entire DJ names.
Right. Also, tribute, or the callback you get in Malibu's Most Wanted. The one dude's name was called Bloodbath.
I don't remember that, but I could see it.
Yeah.
All right, I asked you guys to do your top 5 vampire club names. bars, whatever, from all original or from cinema. It doesn't matter to me. And bonus points if you could use it in a sentence with us. So like, hey, let's go to Joe, meet me at such and such.
Oh, you're gonna throw this at us now? Okay.
Sabrina, you want to start it off?
Oh shit. Okay. I'm gonna start with. I just went with Bathory's Boutique Spa, as in Elizabeth Bathory's Boutique and Spa. I would like to be a member of that club. I think it would be lovely to go spend some time at Bathory's Boutique and Spa.
Yeah.
Yes, sir.
What is Bathory?
Elizabeth Bathory?
I don't know
She's
what
a
that is.
historical figure that was known for bathing in blood.
Okay, got it.
So there were rumors that she was a vampire or something or other, but she just did it mostly because she was obsessed with the beauty process. Yeah. So Bathory's.
Sorry.
Excellent name. I like that. That's good. That's
the Vampire
that's real
Country
historical stuff.
Yeah, and it's a club because you can become a member of a spa typically.
Yeah.
This one's funner. We could go to Vlad the Inhaler's hookah bar.
Oh.
Okay.
I like that. Come on, Chris. That's good.
Good.
Go by.
Like it.
After work, we could go by for a beer at Bar Positive.
Oh.
Not bad.
All right.
Okay.
Fine.
Hepatitis V's.
Or if that's not your cup of tea, we could get some fish and chips and some nonsense over at a Orlok's pub.
What's Orlok's from?
Count Orlok? He's a famous vampire. Okay, never mind.
I feel like I've heard the name. I can't place it, but I've heard.
Does he know Dracula?
And then I just thought of something dumb, which was the Coven Lounge. That sounds nice.
Decent.
Yeah. Okay, so Bathory's Boutique and Spa and Vlad the Inhaler's hookah bar are.
I like them all with context. Like I'm sure they would all. Yeah, I just unfortunately didn't know that last vampire, but solid list. Chris, you want to go next?
I'll do Herschel first.
Okay.
Yeah. The Cloakroom.
Oh.
I don't know what his. So here's a little takeoff of Andy, Little Creek Road, right? Do you?
Yeah.
There's a bar there maybe called the Blood Bank. Got the finest vampire country music in town.
Yeah, the banks.
Vampire line dancing.
COVID, barely.
Bring your bats on down to the Belfry.
Hello.
Greatest strip club in town, Vamps.
Yeah.
He only gave me 4, so I'll add one for him since I have 14. Oh, come on down to the casino with the loosest slots at high stakes.
Nice.
High stakes. I like that. That's a good one.
All right, let's see. Here's mine. For all you Seamen on Film fans, come on down to the Coffin Locker.
There you go.
Hey, good work.
Yeah.
Get your blood flowing with the tastiest drinks in town at the Vina Cava.
The Vein Cave. That sounds awesome. That sounds like a gym.
That's actually a vein in your body.
Yeah, but if you translate it.
Tired of boring Saturday nights? Come on down to the Suck Room.
Ew. Oh, God.
Laughing at that.
That's awful. I hate that one. That's my least favorite one. Instantly feel grossed out.
Quarter
Say
beer
that's
nights at the Thirsty Count.
Yeah.
Okay.
And did any of you guys watch Tacoma FD?
I've seen
Yeah.
bits and pieces.
You know what the steakhouse is called there?
Nah.
Feel like your
Bloodletting or
steaks.
something.
Feel like your steak's bloody and your beer's cold. Come on down to Bleeders,
Ugh.
Yeah.
the steakhouse on there is called Bleeders, and it's its favorite place to go eat.
Ew.
Andy.
All right.
Chris never
I don't-
fails to make me cringe at least once an episode.
Yeah, it's in his contract. Yeah. I don't know if you heard about the new club opening up, really classy, called Le Stats.
I bet they got some nice French food.
Yeah. It's more of a dive, it's the feeding pit.
Oh.
Since Vlad the Inhaler was really good, like I have to scratch out my Vlad the Dancer, which didn't really work as good for like,
Oh.
dance club,
Aw.
but I'm going, so I'll sub that one out, and I'll come to the replacement at the end. But the next one being Lights Out.
Yeah.
Then there's everybody's favorite Blood Knights, and since I had to scrap the Vlad reference, Bloodworks, but with an X.
Oh yeah.
Okay, yeah. You gotta put the X in there.
Very trendy.
I like that one.
Yeah,
That's funny.
Yeah.
Joe.
All right. Ladies of the night, why not start your evening off at Dr. Acula's Appletini Bar?
Oh.
Dr.
The
Acula.
Scrubs reference.
That is not to be denied. Maybe sports and libations are more your speed. Come on down to Jackie Daytona's Regular Human Bar.
I like that you've used the words besmirch and libations in this
You
recording.
sound so sophisticated.
It's vampire,
A couple of drinks. Why don't you come wind up at the city's hottest hookah bar and lounge, Brahms Tokers.
Ooh, that is some direct competition for Vlad the Inhaler.
Yeah.
You can finish off your evening with some mild vampiric grinding at Dansylvania.
I would go to Dansylvania for sure.
And while you are dancing your undead life away, always know that just across the street at an IHOP where some of the P is kind of burned out so it looks like an F, the International House of Familiars,
Okay.
Nice.
to catch your ride home
Right.
at the end of your evening.
Very, very nice. Vampire hotspots.
Well, you really showed off your SAT words with that one. I liked it.
Yeah, you guys did good. I'm down to my C list categories, but I'll start off. Do you guys remember Andy and Joe on the Saturdays where we had nothing going on and we would just go hang out at Suckheads?
Oh,
Kids,
Was that in the town center?
military circle.
Oh, jeez. Dangerous.
Did I ever tell you guys a story about how me and Sabrina met at the Bat's Kiss?
you're trying so hard.
That's all I got.
Oh, that was it.
Hey Joe, do you want to meet me later on at Alucard Secrets?
Oh, who?
Cool.
Alucard,
That one.
Castlevania reference.
Oh,
wondering if
okay.
anybody picked up on it.
Damn it.
Dracula.
And what's that?
Dracula backwards.
Yep. And sometimes after work, me and Chris, we head on over to Hemogoblins for a drink.
Oh, that one's adorable.
Yeah.
Goblin.
I could also be a bowling alley too, I think.
And then I actually also had Coffin Locker, but I'm gonna go with the cinema one. You can't have a vampire. The most famous vampire establishment, I think, is the good old titty twister.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Ugh.
I didn't say I was gonna say if you want pink pussy, blue pussy,
Naugahyde
you find cheaper pussy anywhere.
for a penny.
Fuck it. You know, there was all
Is-
the honorable mentions.
I take it that
Deacon Frost, you know.
Sabrina's
name.
never seen that movie in her
No,
life.
I don't know what's going on right now. It's very weird.
Oh, from
you
dusk till
watched-
dawn.
From
Yeah,
Dust Till
Oh,
Dawn.
I've seen that. I just
You
don't
never went
remember.
to Baby Dolls in Great Lakes? That's true.
Oh
They
my
used to
God.
play that whenever they had the parade of women.
Uh,
I never.
Oh.
Baby dolls.
Yeah.
Dudes are falling in love down there, though.
Yeah, they sure were.
let's move on to the next EMI. Cruise book quotes. Did you guys do cruise book quotes?
I didn't. Fuck.
Yeah,
No.
I've heard it already, but
No, based on our chat conversation, I kind of got the feeling that everybody forgot about cruise book quotes.
I wrote one quote down, and I will use it as my cruise book quote.
yeah, I got it.
Let's start with Chris.
All right, I want to try to say this correctly. Some motherfuckers always trying to ice skate uphill. I don't know what the fuck that, and I imagine that it means when we're trying to sweep water off the deck, that the deck drain is always at the highest point of the deck there.
That's exactly how I picture it.
We're sweeping water off the ship while it's still raining. Probably what that means.
Sabrina.
Okay, mine's a couplet. Nobody's that stupid. Well, when you understand the nature of a thing, you know what it's capable of. Sorry. No, I didn't think this movie was entirely quotable, personally. I didn't find a lot of things that I was like, gonna have to say that in my everyday life.
Oh, I found a bunch of things that
But
I
when
could
you
say
understand
in my everyday life. But as far as cruise book quotes, there wasn't a whole lot.
Yeah.
I'm gonna use my fire control background for my quote and say, "We have a good arrangement. He makes the weapons, I use them."
Yeah. Okay.
Andy or Joe, if you guys don't
Well,
got any.
yeah.
Oh, okay.
Well, Quinn, I'm gonna be a naughty vampire god. There's a great Quinn line.
And how he says it too.
Yeah.
Is hilarious.
I
Joe,
didn't do one.
You didn't?
I did not.
I
That's
just
fine.
pulled that up and just looked and like
But that is a good one. I think my favorite like exchange is probably between Karen and Deacon Frost when he's like, you know, La Magra's coming. He's a fucking hurricane. He's a fucking force of nature.
Yeah.
Everybody you love, everybody you've ever fucking known. Like I that's prime Deacon Frost right there, Andy.
There's some like
There's like good things, like what you said, Adam, is true. Like there's things that's quotable, but didn't make me think I want this in my cruise book quote.
yeah. There's some you could kind of like chain of command wise. You could say like, "Motherfucker, are you out of your damn mind?" Fuck me, no, you fuck this. It's pretty good. You better wake up. The world you live in is a sugar-coated topping. There's another world beneath it, a real world. If you want to survive, you better learn to pull the trigger.
Yeah, I wasn't able to write that fast enough, but that one stuck out in my mind.
I just like smells like a vampire wiped his ass with it.
Yeah.
Ew.
There's the I just had it. There are worse things out tonight than vampires. Like what? Like me.
Yep.
It's a good one.
Yeah, hell yeah. I guess we'll move on to rating the movie. And we'll do a deployment movie afterwards, but we'll start off with rating. Sabrina, tell us your feelings, give us your rating.
I think it was a pretty enjoyable movie. I still liked it. Like the first time I ever watched this was because you made me watch it.
I feel like you say that a lot.
Yeah, but this was like when, like before we were dating, and I remember being over at your house, and you were like one of the like the last Blade movies was on, and you were watching, and I was like, "Oh, this is crazy! I've never seen this." And you were like, "Stop the movie!" And you were like, "You have to watch all of them." So it was one of those moments. So I remember that a little bit. So I'm glad it's still fun. It's not super scary as far as horror goes, but there's decent action, there's decent story, there's a lot of good history and like context and stuff for them to have made this movie. I don't know. It's just a solid, fun vampire action movie, and I'm gonna give it like, I'm gonna give it a 7, solid 7, 7.5. I'm gonna give it a whole 7.5, I think, because I really did enjoy it.
Chris, give us your final thoughts and rating.
All right, Herschel's final thoughts.
Okay, yeah.
We'll say his vampire hunter name's Jericho.
I like it.
Jericho Kevorkian. It's a good one overall. I do like Blade. It's entertaining, and Snipes is good in it. Anybody driving a 68 Charger can't be all bad. Even if it's not an RT, I'd give it a 6.5.
6.5. That's disrespectful. What about you, Chris?
Oh, I like it, and I'll give it a 7.5. It's 2 hours long, and I didn't know it was 2 hours. I didn't feel 2 hours.
Yeah.
It didn't feel like 2 hours at all.
I'm a Wesley Snipes fan as well. Usually his movies, like when he's in things, I think he does little things that makes them good. So
cool.
I like the movie.
Andy?
Yeah, I mean, final thoughts here. Yeah, it's a great movie. It was good to revisit. The only other thought I had, watching this, going back to it, it's like, as like popular and as big as like this movie and the trilogy got, he made all that money and he didn't fucking pay taxes for like 12 years. The fuck?
Hey, I'm with him though on taxes, man.
Well, yeah, I mean, I agree, but also it's like it wasn't like he was hurting,
Yeah.
But anyways, rating for the movie. I mean, there's not much bad you can really say about it, other than Steven Dorff. So I mean, probably a 9.
Oh,
I like it. Joe.
Yeah, this movie's great, man. I mean, it's fun. It's everything you want it to be. And I'm telling you, Sabrina, watch it more than once, and then really watch it like the second, third, fourth, and fifth time. This seems like an onion.
I've really watched it. I swear, I watched it a whole second time.
Oh no, you but earlier you had said like, if I watch this again, I'd feel like, and I'm like, yeah, you'll. Oh, there's so many things in this movie. It's good. It's a great.
It's
movie.
definitely rewatchable. Definitely.
I am personally giving this movie 9.
Wow.
Because it's not the best movie in the world.
No.
But it's a whole lot of fun, and it's exactly what, like, I don't know. I mean, it is 1998.
It is exactly what it's supposed to be. Yeah.
I'm thinking that one Dixie cup you're missing might be Blade riding a dragon. Maybe could have.
If he jumped on a horse halfway through this movie, it'd been over with.
There's not a single helicopter. There's not a dragon. There's not a horse. It's missing.
But it is a actually I'm gonna give it a 9.5 because it can't be a 10.
Oh.
I feel weird about that, but I'm gonna give it a 9.5 because this movie, I like watching this movie whenever I can. It's like I said, it's fun. this was one of like this movie came out before like regular people could buy DVD players.
Yeah.
Yeah, they
Well, I
had a
just watched it on
cassette tape
VHS.
in the.
My first job, I was a dishwasher, and I bought a VCR player, and this movie was one of the first ones I ever bought on DVD. And I would just keep it in my VCR, hit play, and then I'd go to sleep and watch this movie every fucking night when I was in for like a year. It seemed like.
Okay.
I mean, it was always in my VCR getting played. And I'd, just set the old timer on the TV, fall asleep, wake up the next, next night I'd watch the movie again. I watched it a bunch. It's a 9.5.
So
This is the highest rated movie that we've seen so far.
Okay.
I absolutely love. You done, Joe?
Balade.
Oh, okay. Yeah, I absolutely love this movie. I think Wesley Snipes and Stephen Dorff actually murdered the roles. I mean, to the point where they were only in 2 scenes together, but you would think that they were battling the whole entire movie. That's how captivating they were.
Good point. Good point.
Yeah, it's definitely my highest rated movie so far. I'm also giving it a 9.5, only because it's not in my like Rolodex of movies that I constantly watch, like Tombstone, RoboCop, stuff like that. But it definitely should be in my rotation. But since it's not currently right now, it's a 9.5.
I am quite surprised that it's not in your current rotation.
I am too.
Like when I was watching it, I was like, "This is a total Adam movie. Why is he not watching this constantly?"
It's gonna be.
I would
in my
enjoy
rotation.
the mix-up from the Tombstone all the time. Like I would love to walk in on you watching Blade instead of Tombstone.
Tombstone's so good though.
Yeah.
I'm over
First time you caught him masturbating, Tombstone.
it. Basically, it's what it feels like.
Yeah. Quickly, around the table. Is this a deployment movie,
I
Sabrina?
think Andy gave us
Sure.
his rating.
Andy gave it a 9.
Oh, did he? Oh, shit.
Yeah.
Okay. That's because I was somewhere else. Never mind.
You were just in La La Land about it. But
You were
yes,
like thinking about your rating and how much you love this movie that you.
Good point.
Like,
I'm sorry, Andy.
you're caught in your euphoria right now. This is a beautiful moment for you guys.
and don't make me. I always feel bad when I skip over somebody. And
Sorry,
always,
man. That's my fault.
is this a deployment movie, Sabrina?
Yes.
Chris,
Yes.
Andy,
100%.
Joe,
No doubt.
Herschel.
Yeah.
Yes.
Aye aye.
I'm 100% agreement. That's a deployment movie across the board. That'll take us to Andy. You remind everybody the category and tell us what our next movie is going to be.
Yeah. I had 80s horror thriller again somehow. Despite my best efforts. The last time, that I.
Hold on, I'm excited. Hold on. I'm really excited.
I hope he fucking pulls the rug out from under you and goes a different route.
No,
he
we're
picked
100%
Christine.
watching Sleepaway Camp.
Oh,
We're
Okay.
watching Sleepaway
Christine.
Camp because I said
Really?
fuck
oh, you bought it.
Picked it up in Boise.
it.
You just knew it was happening, didn't you?
I said it
Wow,
at,
hey, let
at
me
that
see that
moment.
cover
I
a
was
little
like,
bit.
that's what I'm doing.
Okay.
All right.
Is that
Alright, so
that's
ready for
Sleepaway
the,
Camp 1, right?
I hope so. 1983.
Yeah, that's right. 1983. The year of my birth. And this movie, apparently.
You don't know how happy this is gonna make it. Dr.
Universal,
Jericho.
yeah.
All right. Well, what's all our assignments and
All
stuff?
right, so our top 5 list or whatever for that portion of the EMI is going to be the top 5 activities at either you either do it a sleepover or at like a summer camp. Either way, or mix them in.
Boot camp? Does boot camp count?
No, you're kind of limited there, unfortunately. But some of those activities you do at other camps. So play it that way. And then let's see. Maybe
I went to summer camp like every year. Woo! I'm gonna have this one in the bag.
I don't
Oh my god.
something else.
Have any of you seen this movie?
No.
Absolutely
I've,
not.
I've listened to the how did this get made about this movie or whatever. So I know
Holy
it's
crap, this is a
ridiculous
good one.
bonkers, You know.
You want to talk about 80s horror. Oh,
Yeah. It's up there.
Hold on
Um,
to it, Chris. We'll get there.
Did we just walk in on you masturbating?
His face got real serious.
good one
Yeah.
there. This is,
I
I can't wait to hear all of you talk about this one.
don't know, maybe hot takes is a good way to go. Figure out and see what everybody kind of makes of this thing and
Oh God.
hot takes.
You want a hot take? I can give
let's
you
do
a hot take.
takes. Yeah.
I have a feeling I'll have at least 10.
I'm gonna
Right.
go dig out my DVD. Adam, my DVD has the bloody knife through the shoe on it. Let me see if
Yeah, that's what the movie poster.
Let me go
is.
through my rotation ones right here.
Andy, you've seen this, right?
Nope.
Oh, okay. So you're going in blind.
I
You
got
didn't
that.
I know a little bit about the movie from listening to a podcast review of it, but
How did this get made? Has
yeah, they did an episode, so I'm gonna definitely revisit that episode.
let me tell you what.
I got the collector's edition.
Oh, nice.
I'm very excited for you.
It's available
Oh, for
on
us. You found
that
freebie for
Boise?
free, hence the freeness. So I mean,
Say again, Chris?
You know, I don't want to say. I think that just came out in Boise. It probably just got released in Boise. They're a little behind everybody else.
It's getting released on DVD for the first time.
That's cool. Where'd you see that one at today?
What's that?
Where'd you see that one at today? There's a place that sells DVDs.
Yeah. It's called Entertain something.
Oh,
you can also get it on
Entertain
they probably
something?
still got
Peacock or
blockbusters
Good one.
up there.
It's everywhere. Tubi.
They got movie galleries and shit in Boise still.
Like it was like a mashup of two words that kind of made sense. I forget. I'm staying right across from a mall.
How did you? Were you just looking around in there and you saw
Yeah.
Sleepaway Camp? You just said, "Man, fuck it, I better do this."
Well, first I'm trying to go back and
Get all
like
the movies that we watch.
all the movies that we watched, and then I already got Blade, and then I was like, Andy is probably gonna go with Sleepaway Camp. So I was like, let me just get it right now so I can show it off on the video.
Okay.
Nice.
Who's picking next?
Sabrina.
I think it's me.
Y'all done with your assignments?
Yeah. Hot takes and top 5 activities at a sleepover at summer camp. Or mix it up. However, but that's your 5.
Sleep with your bros.
Did any of you go to summer camp ever?
Yeah.
Yeah, I went to a lot of
Sabrina, can you give me permission to share my screen?
Sure. Hang on.
So,
I don't remember how to do it.
Should be right up in the right-hand corner, right? Or
be like a request or something, right?
Well, I don't have real Zoom, so when I use his, I have to relearn how to use.
we're still recording, aren't we? Yeah.
We are still recording. You guys should chat about something or
make.
I wonder if like the new Blade that's it's gonna be Marcella. I don't know how to pronounce it.
Yeah.
Marcella's Wallace? Does it look like
Mahershala
a bitch?
Ali.
Mahershala Ali.
Yeah.
And what I'm worried about is that his mediocre movie
okay, I think
will
you have permission now.
make a generation of Blade fans think that that's Blade.
Well, if it sucks, everybody goes back to watch.
I don't want to live in a world where kids grow up thinking Mahershala Ali is Blade, unless of course his Blade movie rocks.
I'm not a fan of reboots, man. I'm like, make a new fucking movie. I'm not. If he's just gonna be Blade and it's a different movie,
I bet Deacon Frost would come.
A continuation.
I bet Stephen Dorff would come back as Deacon Frost. They wanted him.
Yeah, he's not doing anything
good.
He's not doing anything in the past 23 years. He's available.
I
Make
bet
me
you
the
Steven
host,
Dorff's
Sabrina.
been in some stuff, man.
He has. Let me tell you something. He was like one of the Hollywood bad boys on the B list back then.
There, try it now.
Probably couldn't even get into the Viper room, you know, with old River Phoenix and the boys.
On the Viper room.
Ah,
Sabrina, have you done a free pick or a AFI 100?
I did a free for all.
All right, so these don't apply to you. You keep spinning until you get one of these categories.
Okie doke.
50-50 basically.
Limited choices right now.
We're almost at the end of season 2.
God, where do we go?
Ah, didn't I
back
do
to
this
that
before?
one?
Okay, well,
Listen.
whatever. Done.
Yeah,
Sabrina,
I think you did because that's how we got Christmas all the way or whatever the fuck.
that was like the
No,
teen,
that was
right?
2010s.
Oh, okay.
So 2000s horror thriller. Let's do it.
Yeah.
Sabrina, Final Destinations 2, 4, and 5 are still available in this decade here.
I will not be picking
Also,
any Final
one.
Destination movie.
Oh, they
Yeah,
were
I don't
on
care,
this
so.
weekend, and they were on IFC, and I watched that.
You let us know when they're on, and they're on like every other weekend. So who
Yeah.
cares?
And they were on
Yeah.
IFC,
Like, I
so it
don't need
showed
to
the
know.
boob. Joe, it showed the boobs and the tanning scene on
IFC?
IFC.
Oh yeah. it
IFC
does.
shows everything. It's
Cable, you know.
It's just
Catch us next
2000s
month
horror.
when Andy's hosting Sleepaway Camp.
Yeah.
Say good night,
Okay,
everybody.
fine. Good night.
Good night, everybody.
Good night.
Good night.